Today we shall discuss about the sector of Indian economy. Okay, so our Indian economy, as you know that our Indian economy is the mixed economy. GM Keynes told that. Okay, say that. So Indian economy classify into various sector. So on the basis of the economic activity or the nature of job, the sector of Indian economy is divided into three sector: primary sector, secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. And on the basis of ownership, the economic sector divided into two sector: private sector and the public sector. And on the basis of the working condition or job condition, it's divided into organized sector and unorganized sector. Okay, so first let us discuss about the on the basis of the market activity or on the basis of the natures of job, the economic sector divided into three sector: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Okay, so the primary sector means the sector which is based on the nature. Okay, the sector which is directly depend upon the nature, that is called the primary sector. For example, agriculture, fishing, mining, poultry, farming. Okay, these are the primary sector. So mostly the agriculture. Okay, then the secondary sector, the sector which is involves the manufacturing. Okay, or the industrial sector is the example of secondary sector. Okay, the secondary sector based on the manufacturing. Then the tertiary sector means the service sector. Okay, the sector which involves the
teachers,
visibility of
doctor,
the
engineer.
Okay, so here this tertiary sector means the service sector. So the primary sector, example agriculture. So
Agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining, quarrying are the example of primary sector, and agriculture is the biggest example.
The Indian economy completely based on the primary sector, but nowadays it's the secondary sector and tertiary sector also grew up, but much more the tertiary sector grew up. So according to data 2014-15, the share of GDP, okay, 53% share from the tertiary sector, 17% share from the primary sector, and 30% share from the secondary sector to the our GDP. Okay, GDP means what? The gross domestic product. Okay, so but before the 1 or 2 decade, the share of GDP of the sectors of Indian economy, 56% from the primary sector, it was 27% from the secondary sector, and 17% from the tertiary sector. But place in the sectors of Indian economy. Okay, the our tertiary sector nowadays increasing at an increasing rate. That means now the our tertiary sector share is maximum in our GDP or the gross domestic product. Okay, so the India was before the independence, India was completely based on the primary sector. Okay, the 100% means all the Indian depend upon the agriculture for their livelihood. But when the industrialization started, okay, then the industry sector also grew up. So due to that, the transportation and communication also grow up. Then the tertiary sector also created. Okay, so the here all the sector has depend upon to each other. All the primary, secondary, or tertiary sector, all the sector are depend upon each other. They are interdependent to each other. Okay, let's take an example. Okay, so a farmer is here, a farmer. Okay, then the industry, then the tertiary sector.
A farmer produce the sugar cane, and then through the tertiary sector they transport to the manufacturing sector. Then the manufacturing sector or the secondary sector make the manufacture or produce the final product, and that again that goes to the market. Okay, so market is here also service sector.
So in this tertiary sector, in the market, that's sold by the shopkeeper. Okay, so like that, here the farmer also depend upon the industry sector for the fertilizer. Okay, for the pesticides, for the machine. Okay, and the secondary sector also need the skill labor. Okay, skill level, okay, like engineer, operator, all these things the industry needs. The service sector also, and both the secondary sector and tertiary sector needs what? Foods, and that food provided by the primary sector. Okay, so like that the all the sector are depend upon each other. Okay, take the another example of cotton. So the farmer produce the cotton, then after that goes to the industry manufacture that cotton to cloth. Okay, then clothes goes to the service sector. Okay, that service sector sell that in market. Okay, also here the primary sector always depend upon the industrial sector for the machine, fertilizer, pesticides. Okay, and the secondary sector always depend upon the tertiary sector like the service, like engineering, operating, okay, mechanism. Then the service sector also always depend upon the primary sector for foods. Okay, the secondary sector also depend upon the primary sector. The primary sector also depend upon the tertiary sector. So here all the three sector depend upon each other.
How do we count the various goods and service and know the total production in the each sector? Okay, simply take an example. The value of good and service is used rather than the editing the actual number to know the total production. For example, 10,000 kilos of wheat is sold at Rs 10 per kg. So the value of wheat is here 10 into 8, 10,000 into 8 is equal to 18,000 rupees. The value of 5,000 coconut at Rs 10 per coconut will be Rs 50,000. So similarly, the value of goods and services in the three sectors are calculated and then added up. So simply here, not every goods that is produced and sold need to be calculated or count. Only the final goods and services take. Okay, so the value of final goods means the good which is ready to use. So only the value of final good added in the national income or added in our GDP. So gross domestic product means the value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides the total production of the sector for that year is called GDP. And sum of the production in the three sector give a GDP of the country, and it is the value of all final goods and services produced within the country during a particular year. It shows how big the economy is. The share of employment in the three sector in according to 1973 and according to 2000. So its great changes took place. So observation of the graph, the majority of the people are still employed in agriculture activity as the agriculture provide the seasonal employment. So during the cropping season or so such of hidden employment are big. So moreover, as history suggests, a developed nation dependency shift from the primary sector toward the tertiary sector in all aspects of the economic development. On the basis of job condition or working condition, the economic sector divided into two sectors, organized sector and the unorganized sector. So the organized sector means the sector which is organized and which is the law of the land. Okay, so a system which is follow a law. So the labor rights are given due to the respect and wage are as per the norm. Labor or working in organized sector get the benefit of the social security, job security, and net as the funded by the government. So certain benefit like provident fund, leave entitlement, medical benefit, and insurance are the provided to the worker in the organized sector. And this security provision are necessary to the provide source of substance in case of disability of death of the man owner. Then in the unorganized sector, the sector which evade most of the law and do not follow the system come under the unorganized sector. The small shopkeeper, small scale manufacturing. Okay. So in this sector, the manufacturing units keep all their attention to the provide making only profit and ignore the worker basics right. So worker do not get the adequate salary also. On the basis of ownership, the sector divided into sector, public sector and the private sector. So public sector means simply the government sector. The sector, the company which is run by the government, financed by the government and come under the government. So India needed the huge amount of money to set up the manufacturing plant on the basis of items like iron and steel, aluminum, fertilizer and the cement. So additionally, the infrastructure like road, railway, port, airport also required the huge investment. So in those days, India entrepreneur was not easy reach to the government had to start the certainly big public sector. So then the private sector. The private sector is that the part of the economy sometimes refers to the citizen sector and which is run by the private individual or the private group of people. So usually as a means of the entrepreneur for the profit. So here the profit making is important and is not the control by the government or by the state. So the private sector employ most of the worker in some country. The private sector is legally regulated by the state. So business within the one country and required to the company with the law in that country. So the various private company are there in our India. Underemployment is a situation where the people are apparently working but all of them are made up to work less than their potential. जितना करना चाहिए उससे कम करना. So if few the people move out, it will not affect the production. It is the hidden in the contract to the open employment where a person is clearly or visible without job. For example, there are thousands of casual workers in the service sector in urban area as a painter, plumber, etc. They are come under the underemployment. Then unemployment. Unemployment not able to get a job for 8 hours in a day and 273 in a year according to the World Bank. So the type of unemployment, each one is doing some work but not one is fully employed, and this is the situation of underemployment. So where the people apparently working but all of them made to work less than they are the potential. But we see the people of the service sector on the street pushing a cart of the selling sometime where they may spend the whole day but earn the very little. So they are doing this work because they do not have the better opportunity. And there are the lakhs of farmer in India, and even if we remove a lot of people from the agriculture sector and provide them with the proper work elsewhere, the agriculture production will not suffer. So the employment is a great problem in India nowadays. The maximum people are more than 27% people are unemployed nowadays in our country India. So National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, it is all started by the central government. Under the NREGA 2005, all those who are able to and are in work are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government to reduce the unemployment in rural and urban area.